This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 6.
Flu game. Flu game. That's what I was saying to myself the whole time. I felt like absolute crap.
Despite an illness and an SEC defense, Texas Tech quarterback Tyler Shough returns to Lubbock tonight, the MVP of the Texas Bowl, and with a win over Ole Miss. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Case Wilbanks. Karen and Abner are off tonight. The Red Raiders are back home tonight celebrating, and in Tyler Shough's case, hopefully resting after last night's 42-25 win over the Rebels. Shough said after the game last night, he and a couple of other players and coaches suffered from food poisoning the night before. So after a night of no sleep, getting sick every hour, he says the athletic trainers filled Shough up on fluids and treated his symptoms. You couldn't tell, though, just like Michael Jordan's flu game in the '97 NBA Finals he alluded to a moment ago. Shough still led his team to a win.
I know it probably showed later in the game. I was exhausted, but I knew I was whatever it was going to take to win. I really had no food in me, but really wasn't me. It was a lot of the guys on the team.
After 2 IV drips before the game and 1 during halftime, Shough ran for 111 yards, the first Tech quarterback to rush more than 100 since 1976. He is now 8-1 as a starter at Texas Tech. Shough drew a delay of game penalty at the very onset. It was on purpose, though, as the Texas Tech offense paid tribute to the late coach Mike Leach. This air raid formation with its wide split O-line harkens back to Leach's 9 seasons with the Red Raiders. Coach Lane Kiffin declined to accept the penalty.
I guarantee you, guys, especially guys my age that coached high school football, some of the stuff that he did in the passing game totally changed the offenses that were being run in the state of Texas. And so just wanted to show our appreciation and especially do it, on a big stage, last game being played, and do it in the red and black.
Coach Leach's first college head coaching job was with the Red Raiders. Along with that formation, both teams wore decals honoring Leach's contributions to the game. Texas Tech wore pirate flags. Ole Miss wore the word Mike.